Hey there, it's Beth from Rock Your Notebook, and I have a really quick video for you. This particular video, I think it took me a total of 10 minutes to make the front cover for this. So I did not speed it up super fast because then the video would have been pointless. But I did want you to see different things that you can do with a Black Mixed Media notebook. This is a notebook that is available in the shop. It is a notebook that you can have a lot of fun with and get really creative with. The paper is mixed media paper, so it handles water, it handles acrylic, it handles it all. It's just amazing. And I've had it in the shop for a while, and I figured it was time to maybe do a series on different things that you can do with a Black Mixed Media notebook. So that's my plan. With that being said, here's the cover, and what you saw me do was stamp these paintbrushes with a Versamark ink, which is like a very sticky ink, and then I threw some embossing powder on it, and this embossing powder is phenomenal. My friend Sarah Scraps, and she has a YouTube channel as well, told me about this embossing powder from Altenew, and it's amazing, and I will never go back ever. I was looking for a really crisp white embossing powder, and this is it. So I'm in heaven and I love it. So after I put the embossing powder on and scraped up some of the extra, I then heat set it with my heat tool. I personally, for heat embossing, use the Wagner or the Martha Stewart heat tool. I have both of them, but I prefer the Wagner because it just seems to get hotter and works better for embossing. And then I'm just wiping down my stamps with some water and this cloth that I have on my table because I don't want the Versamark ink that's like super sticky to sit on my stamps forever. So then I'm using this stamp that says Art Colors My World, and I was originally going to use a silver embossing powder, but I decided to go with white, and in a minute you'll see why. And I'm just following the same steps that I did with the other one, which is inking it up with that Versamark. I'm making sure that I get a really good impression. So I'm putting some pressure on here to ensure that it has stamped well. Because once you stamp it, like, unless you're using a stamp pad like the Tim Holtz one or the other one, and I can't remember her name right now, unless you're using one of those that you could, restamp it in the same spot, there's no coming back from that. Then I put the excess on that piece of notebook paper just so I can dump it all back into the container and not waste any. So again, heat setting this with my Wagner tool, and the finish of it is just amazing. I really cannot speak highly enough of it. And then of course there is some mild warping because, as I said, that heat tool gets really hot. And embossing powder is always a mess, so some of it did get into like the binding. So I just used a brush and wiped that out. Now I have these metallic paints. They're like the gold set from Calero, and I will leave a link to these below in the description box. They are absolutely, by far, for watercolors, my favorite like gold metallic-y looking paint. I mean, they're just phenomenal. So then I got this fan brush that I really kind of need to throw out. My daughter had gotten a hold of it, and it's just not the same, and it will probably never be the same again. But it was not giving me the splatters I wanted. It was like way too many, and I was not happy. And I could have definitely had picked it up and wiped up those splatters, but art's not perfect, and I'm not trying to be perfect. So I just went with it. And then I'm just going to splatter this entire thing with these gold paints, and the end result is amazing and so beautiful and so stunning because it's on the black paper. So the paints really shine on this black paper. They show up really well on any paper, but they really shine on this black paper. So that is it for me. Well, this is just like a little tiny mixed media spread. This is the front cover of this notebook. And be on the lookout for this series to continue. It's going to be all about what you can do in a black traveler's notebook. By the way, the size that I'm using currently right now for this notebook is a B6. It's a great size to have, and you should definitely check it out. All right, I'll leave links to everything below. Thanks so much for watching and supporting my store. Be sure to check out rockyournotebook.com, where I have been adding new products throughout this entire month of May, and will continue to do so. All right, bye.